What should be the first order of business when Parliament returns?
I think the first order of business is Trudeau needs to sit everybody down and he needs to put together a plan that gets things done. He talks a lot, but not so good on the getting things done part. So I think there are a number of good things in what they propose to do, but they really need to get to it.
Working in healthcare, we need more people in healthcare, so we need to make priorities to educate more people to get into the health field.
Get their own house in order first, and well, they really should. They have to get our deficit under control. They have to get the deficit under control. Yeah, it's of course most countries in the world are deficit spending, and which is all adding to inflation. And I'm old enough to have gone through the last inflation, and it is very painful. Very painful.
I think finding ways to fill those positions will help the people who have those businesses, right? Like small business owners, restaurants, those kind of places are suffering because they can't get people. Even on the island we went to dinner and their hours were reduced because they couldn't find staff. So if there's people out there that need those jobs, we need to match those jobs with the employers. How can the government help that, right? Rather than continue to subsidize or do make-work projects where we're funding tax dollars into the economy, just connect employees and employers. Figure out a way to make that happen.
I think number one, to achieve some very needed peace within our country at least would be to really put more effort into the native situation. I don't know how we keep carrying on as we do without making peace, and you know, ensuring that these people get water, that they get a fair shake. You know, that to be denied all these things all these years, it's unconscionable, and especially the richness of this country, and to not have included these people in our processes and honored the treaties and all these matters. Yeah, that's right up there. That's right up there.
Finding a way to help us all get back to some sort of sense of normal. And I don't know what that means or what it looks like, but that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants to be back to normal. And I think we need some good leadership from our government to help us decide what that means for ourselves and to help us find out how we can. It's not just on the government; it's on us too. And we need to find ways to be able to get ourselves through that.
Food security and homelessness are massive, and the pandemic has exacerbated that issue, I think. So, food security and homeless. So, affordable housing.
My preference would be that the minority federal government extends their vaccine mandate and copies Italy, making it mandatory. Essentially, anyone who works basically has to be vaccinated. We have the tools to end the pandemic, and we just have to have the courage to use them. And I think right now our politicians have been tiptoeing around mandating vaccines. Trudeau has gone further than any of the other political parties, but he needs to go and copy Italy, copy France, make it and bring it in without fear of the political blowback, because if you can end the pandemic, then everything else after that is recovery.
Try to get everything back on track. Like a lot of people lost their jobs, me included.
Homelessness. How's that? I'll go with that. There's lots of it around here.
Yeah, we're just here for the weekend, and we were just commenting to each other that we noticed that there's a lot of homeless people around here. It's really sad.
Dealing with child welfare issues, actually dealing with the First Nation child welfare issue, because it's been going on for far too long, and there are far too many First Nation kids in the child welfare system, as well as residential school survivors who deserve compensation. and that hasn't happened yet.
I think they need to look at making a federal vaccine passport, and because traveling, it's really hard because from province to province or internationally, there's no idea what's valid and what's not.
There's still the effects of the pandemic going on, so I think they need to have a timeline for removing those supports, but not removing them so quickly that so we end up having a further shock to the economy. I think that really needs to be number one, and setting out like at least a year timeline of we're going to do this in the next couple of months, and then going forward the next couple of months. With that, they also need to be focusing on international relations so that countries together are making those decisions together is what I would hope for.
I definitely think they should address the monetary spending in the budget. We're doing a lot of cuts, and I don't think it's good. I think we should maybe reinstate the pipeline and a bunch of things, because gas is very expensive and we're spending money like crazy and we don't always know where it's going.